Hello, and welcome back to another episode of You Are the Masterpiece podcast, where we are talking that we do not have to be perfect as long as we are taking the effort because we are all work in progress and masterpieces at the same time. And if this is the first time you are tuning in, hello and welcome. My name is Irina Portnova. I call myself Manifestation Star because I love manifesting great things in life. And I'm here to teach you how to do that effortlessly and with fun. And today I'm here with my dear guest, Wendy. Wendy, it's so great to have you with us.
It's great to be here, especially with you, Irina. I'm so looking forward to this conversation. And we've already had to overcome a few hurdles just to get here, but that's what it's all about, right?
Totally. Just, stay cool no matter what the life throws at you, right?
Yes. Yes, exactly.
Beautiful. Can you just share a couple of words about yourself and what you are doing in this world?
Well, for 2 decades, I've been making my clients' futures pretty freaking fabulous. I'm known as the millionaire maker. So if you have a million, we'll multiply that. If you don't have a million, we'll get you there. And I've even
Mm-hmm.
turned two little girls into billionaires. So I love what I do and I love the people I do it for.
I love that. All right, so and today we have a very fun topic, which is based on the book that you wrote. It's titled "Live Like a Rock Star." And you
Yes.
notice I have on my title it says Manifestation Star. Here we are going to talk about the rock star, like so much synchronicities. So,
Yes.
just Wendy, take us a little bit. Why did you decide to write this book and what inspired you?
Well, someone once said that if you have knowledge or wisdom or expertise that will help others, you really have an obligation to get the word out to them so that you can help
Mm-hmm.
them. And so I figured by writing this book, rather than talking to people one at a time, or I have a TV show and, talking to that audience, I thought if I can get this book out into the hands of the masses
Mm-hmm.
and really show them how to build wealth
Mm-hmm.
and layer upon layer, you know what I mean? And show them that it is possible, then I want to give them hope. A lot of people are really struggling these days and they
Mm-hmm.
need that hope. And I think a lot of people think, oh, it's so complicated. I don't even know where to begin, or I don't know if I've saved enough or invested enough or whatever it might be. But, I always want to give people hope because my current husband that I married in 2000, we both lost our incomes on the same day, not once, but twice.
Mm-hmm.
So if we could come back from that and create a financially free future where money's not going to be an issue, never going to be a stress, and we could do that coming from nothing, imagine what we could do starting with something.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this is, but the first chapter of the book is all about mindset. Because if you don't think you deserve it, if you don't think you're worthy, if you think millionaires are bad, or why would I need multiple millions of dollars, it's never going to happen. And if you don't think you need multiple millions of dollars, well, then go help somebody with it. A
I
child is
love that.
trafficked for sex every 30 seconds. People die of waterborne illnesses every 20 seconds. And people are hungry. People are starving. And there's so much good you can do with that. So that's what it's really
Mm-hmm.
about is get your mind right. And then layer upon layer, here's how you can live like a rock star too, with that freedom, not with the drugs and the chaos and the confusion, but
Mm-hmm.
with the clarity and the purpose and the confidence where you can really just show up in life and claim your stage.
Oh my God, I just love you dropped so many gems that I just kind of want to pause and unpack. First of all, I love when you said a lot of people do not know where to start.
Mm,
That's why clarity is power, right? When we know exactly where do we go, and
yeah.
then the easiest way is to have somebody by your side who can guide you, who can take you to that destination, right? Again, I always keep telling Wendy, to everyone that we are not meant to do this work alone. Even
Yeah.
if we are the experts in our areas, we still have to have somebody by our side to show us our blind spots, because we are talking about that we were not designed as human beings to be able to do this work for ourselves. Yes, we
No.
help others, but we also have our mentors and coaches. It's sort of like a non, finished thing, because we are moving from one level of awareness to the next. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And not only do we have blind spots, but probably 90% of what I do is to simply educate people because they don't even
Mm-hmm.
know that there are these financial vehicles out there. A lot of
Totally.
people just think, oh, college funding 529 plan, whatever it might be, just the kind of the mainstream what you hear on TV or in commercials or that kind of thing. And
Mm-hmm.
I love to open up their eyes and they to things that they didn't even know existed. They didn't even know it was possible. And you want to have someone like you or like me that can take them by the hand and guide them and reveal these truths to them.
Mm-hmm. Right. I love it. And then I love that you mentioned everything starts with our mindset, right?
Oh,
Because
yes.
we gotta set our minds on what we desire. And the idea is we are not going to change the course until we reach the destination. And it takes a lot of courage, right? Because a lot of people saying, give me the strategy, but strategy can take us so far, because
Yeah.
if we do not have a strong mindset where we are here to overcome anything what comes our way, where we can handle rejections, where we can handle no's, where we can just face the reality with everything, knowing
Hmm.
that all these no's are leading to the yeses, right? And
Yeah.
that's the beauty of the mindset. So yes, once we actually train our brain muscle to be strong the same way as we would train our body, things really start unfolding for us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I've been working on mindset. I've told the story before that when I was a kid, my parents were very, very strict that if I didn't bring home all A's and B's, if I brought home a C, I would be grounded from report card to report card. And I mean grounded, like 3 minutes on the
Mm,
phone, don't go anywhere, can't see your friends, nothing, nothing, nothing. And so that'd be what, like a month and a half, 2 months at a stretch. So years later, I actually took a test on being codependent and I got
mm,
like 97 out of 100. And I thought, oh, I got an A on the
mm-hmm.
codependency test. But it was just the opposite. It was so
Right.
that really turned the light on for me. And I thought, if I'm so messed up in this area and I had no idea that I was, what else am I doing that I'm not aware of? So I've really been on a journey for gosh, over 3 decades now to just get my mind in the most positive, most impactful, and most abundant and positive and gracious and grateful mindset that it can possibly be in. And it makes
Mm-hmm.
such a difference in life on what we attract in our lives, how we look at life, how we respond to life's curveballs that get thrown at us, like tech not working and I'm holding my phone in my hand during this
Right.
interview, things like that. But we're laughing and it's like it's all good. It's all okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I love what you share. And one more piece I wanted to share about what you said, that a lot of people do not put into perspective. It's like I always say, like narrow vision, because a lot of times they say, like you mentioned, they have enough, right? They don't want to have more. But the idea to have more, not just for yourself, but actually to create a bigger ripple effect, meaning
Yeah.
helping the ones that really need our help, right? So
Yeah.
when we start thinking about wealth and the way we want to distribute whatever we have, we don't just think about our own good. We start thinking more expansive outwards, where our job can touch lots of lives.
Yes. Leave an impact and a legacy, not
Mm-hmm.
just for one generation, but generations to come.
Yep. And really help others to
Yes.
have all the necessities that we all can have, right? So it's all about
Right.
just distribution. Like there is no lack of wealth in this universe, but it's just the lack of distribution, the right distribution. So
Yeah.
that's
Oh, very
why,
good point. Yes.
yeah, so
Yeah.
that's why we want to see what we can do, how we can contribute, how we can help, so this world become a better place.
Yes. And I'm a very big believer in what the Talmud says, that if you save one life, it's as if you saved the entire world, because one
Mm-hmm.
person can change the world, right?
Totally.
So, how many people could you impact? How many people could you save when you have that financial freedom and that abundance so that you're giving, giving, giving? My goal is to give away 90% of what I wait, 90% of what I make, and live on 10. That's how much
Mm.
I want to give. That's the impact I want to make on the world. I want this world to be a better place because I was in it.
I love that. This is so awesome. So let's go back a little bit to your book because I love the title. What exactly is in it?
Well, as I said, the each chapter is about 10 pages long, and the chapter on mindset is like 3 times that.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I said, money is made in the mind. If you do not
Totally.
have the right mindset, it doesn't matter what I tell you. If you, like I said, if you don't think you're worthy, if you don't think you deserve it, millionaires are bad, only drug dealers make that kind of money, you've got to get rid of all that nonsense. So that's the first and foremost, right? But then, and it's a fun book because there was a survey done some years ago, and people would rather have a root canal than talk to a financial professional. So I
Mm.
thought, okay, I've got to break that mold. So let's just get that out of the way right off the bat. So this is a fun book, and it's all spoken from like a rock star mindset. So
Mm-hmm.
having emergency savings and a plan to get out of debt, and some cushion and some forward thinking and what you're going to do, what your financial goals are. That's your set list. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And in every chapter, there's a rock star reminder. We've got rock star stories of clients and what the results were and things like that. So it's a fun read. It's not me talking at you, it's me
Mm-hmm.
saying, hey, come with me on this journey so you can
Mm-hmm.
dream big and live bold and just leave ordinary behind.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I love that. So let's talk a little bit about, what wealth actually means.
Mm.
Because there is a difference, right, between rich and wealth.
Oh, yes. Well, I always say, if you're a billionaire and you're lying in a sick bed dying of stage 4 cancer, you're not a wealthy person. You're just a sick person with a lot of money, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
wealth is about abundance and joy and freedom and health. Health and wealth is your rock star duo.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have one
Totally.
without the other.
True that.
Yes. And then I talk about let's break the chains of debt. There's so many people in debt now that are just struggling to get through the month. And so if you're just trying to get through the month, you're not thinking 5, 10, 20 years down the road, what's my retirement going to look like? How am I going to plan for my kids' college? So let's break those shackles and start to create true wealth now that all that debt is gone. And I can get clients out of debt in record time without them changing their budget or lifestyle. So I'll just give you a quick example. I had a client that had just bought a house 5 years prior. They had a 30-year mortgage, so they would have been paying on their mortgage for another 25 years. They had about 6 or 7 different credit cards, and they're living largely on Social Security because she sells businesses, but it might take, a year for that transaction to get through. So rather than being out of debt in another 25 years, they'll be completely debt free in just 4.5.
Wow.
Like,
That's
that's crazy.
incredible.
Yes. And then now that they're not paying all that money each month on their debt, now the flip side is they can create over $1.1 million in wealth now is waiting for them in their future. So it's not
That's
just about getting rid of debt and the freedom and the stress that you you can now the freedom you enjoy and the stress you don't have, but it's all about building the wealth, and now what can we do to multiply that so you're truly
Mm-hmm.
wealthy.
I love that. I love
Yeah,
that because a lot of people just navigating the life within their knowledge and constraints, right? And I always say that it's all about our awareness. We do not know what we do not know. And a lot of
exactly.
times people get skeptical or they're just saying that it can't be possible. What message would you have for them?
That they don't think it's possible.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I told you that my current husband and I lost our incomes on the same day, not once, but twice. Who would think that it would be possible for us to come back from nothing and enjoy financial freedom?
Right.
And if you told me 30 years ago that this is what my future would be, I'd be like, yeah, no way. How could that
Mm-hmm.
possibly happen? But it can. And what you don't know, I love that you said you don't know what you don't know, because we
Mm-hmm.
don't know that. And what we don't know can and will hurt us.
Mm-hmm.
So you get with someone like me, and I promise. Well, I have a saying on my website: "While other planners will have you snoring, the financial lion will have you roaring." So we're going
Mm-hmm.
to enjoy the ride. We're going to enjoy the journey. We're going to have fun, and you can rest assured that I have your best possible interests at heart. It's not about me and my life. It's about you and your life. And what do you want to get out of it? What's your biggest goal? What's your biggest challenge? What keeps you up at night? When I meet with clients, I don't say, bring all your statements and, your pay stubs and your investment accounts and all that other stuff. It's a conversation. What do you want and need in life? And how can we get you there? That's how we start.
Mm-hmm. I love that. So beautiful. It's like literally something different from the traditional way of handling the finances. And I believe it just, like allowing, giving people, for the people to have the permission for themselves, to give the permission to themselves to explore something that they have never explored and really stepping into these uncharted waters and
Yeah.
start looking at life from a different perspective.
And you know what? I'm a no judgment zone, and I was widowed when my husband died in a motorcycle accident at only 24. We had two
Mm,
little girls, 1 and 3, and a whopping $20,000 of life insurance, when the economic hole that he left behind was $1.6 million.
mm,
So I have learned the hard way. I've done all the hard knocks. I've gone to the school of hard knocks and gotten a PhD, for crying out loud. So I'm a no judgment zone. I know what it's like to be paycheck to paycheck. I know what it's like when there's more month than there is money. So I really want to emphasize that you don't have to come to me and think, have I done enough? Have I saved enough? I'm not good enough. Or, what is she going to think of me? I'm not going to think anything negative of you, because we all make the best decisions that we can with the information that we have at the time. So if you've
totally.
made some wrong decisions, so have I. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Have you lived in lack? So have I. But I
Mm-hmm.
want to show you how you can overcome that and have the financial future and the financial freedom that you so
Mm-hmm.
desire. And it is
Yeah,
possible. And
I
it's
love
easier
that.
than you think. It's often very simple. It's not some complicated, oh, we have to spread your portfolio out into 5,000 different stocks and you got to look up the ticker single. You know what I mean? It's none of that. Oftentimes, it's just a very simple, even. Well, I'll give you an example. I had a client. She is actually the MD to the astronauts at NASA, and she had two little kids, and she was putting 500 a month into a 529 plan, which is typically the college savings plan.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, when you have the money in a 529 plan, the money can only be used for education related expenses. What
Mm-hmm.
if they need an apartment? What if they need a car? What if we just did this? And I showed her a different option. She's putting in the same amount of money, and it's into a permanent life insurance policy not a term policy, but a permanent life insurance
Mm-hmm.
policy where the cash grows, etc. And that same 500 a month, I said, well, how long do you want to pay into it? And she said, till the kids are 21. So for the 6 month old, that $500 a month, she'll pay in about a little less than 148,000. It turns into over $37 million, all in tax-free income.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a couple 100,000 in there for her to fund the kids' college, and then the policy will replenish itself, and the parents can use it for their tax-free income in retirement. So it'll never count against their Social Security. And then it'll replenish itself again so that the children can retire on it. And now she's left a legacy for her grandkids that's not even born yet. So
Mm-hmm.
one simple move, one simple change, and she has funded college, their retirement, the kids' retirement, and left a legacy. So it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have to be complicated. But until you have that conversation, you won't know what's
Totally.
possible. Yeah.
Exactly.
So she was like,
That.
how come nobody else is talking about this? How come nobody
Mm-hmm.
knows about this? I said, because this isn't, I'm like a voice crying out in the wilderness almost, if you will. I'm not the Dave Ramseys and I'm not the Susie Ormans that say, throw your money in the market and, all that kind of stuff. I know
Mm-hmm.
I only put my clients in vehicles where they cannot lose money and their money will only grow.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I love that. So, any other tips you would recommend to anybody who is watching this episode?
Yes, I would say if you're interested in the book, and I highly recommend that you do get it, go to howtolivelykearockstar.vip. Howtolivelykearockstar.vip. And on that landing page, you'll not only be able to order the book, but I have a Rockstar checklist that they can download for free. And there's also 5 Rockstar mindset shifts to get your
Mm-hmm.
mind ready to start bringing in that abundance and that financial freedom.
That's
But
beautiful.
yeah, but here's the bottom line though is life doesn't come with a remote control. You have to
Mm-hmm.
get up and change it yourself. And there is no time like today to do exactly that.
I love that because the only thing we have is now. Nobody
Yes.
knows, right, what's going to happen later. So a lot
Yeah.
of times people procrastinate, they wait for the better times. And I always keep reminding everyone that the circumstances would never go away. We always going to have some kind of circumstances, but these circumstances don't have to tell us what we can or cannot do. And
Yes.
that's our ability to move beyond the circumstances and truly decide what is important for us and what we are willing to do in our life.
Yes. Absolutely. And to change your mind and simply make that decision, it doesn't cost you a thing.
Totally. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. Change one thought and change your reality that you're living. So simple,
Yes.
right? It's simple, but not easy. Because
Yes.
again, a lot of people start doubting, a lot of people just fall back into familiar patterns. And that's why they want to have the guidance like from us.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what it
Absolutely.
is.
Yep.
Yes. Awesome, beautiful. So, well, Wendy, thank you so much. That was a great conversation. And for everybody, you can claim the book, you can visit the links. And thank you so much for shedding some light on how to be living like a rock star. And we know that everybody can as long as they give themselves the permission to do so. Thank
Absolutely.
you. And everybody.